Last night on Monday Night Raw, something happened that should make every single WWE fan furious. Not shocked, not surprised, furious. Because what we witnessed wasn't just another promo battle. It wasn't just another tease. It was a calculated, cold-blooded chess move by a man who has built his entire career on manipulation, mind games, and psychological warfare. And this time, the target wasn't just Paul Heyman. It wasn't just the Vision. It was all of us. Yes, I'm talking about Seth Rollins, and what he pulled on Paul Heyman during WWE Raw might be one of the most diabolical traps we've seen in years. And if you think this was just a segment, you weren't paying attention. Rollins didn't just walk out to the ring. He glided.
Slow, smug,
Almost amused. There was something different in his eyes. Not rage. Not desperation. Not even the usual revolutionary chaos. This was confidence. The kind of confidence a man has when he already knows the ending of the story. And that's what should scare you. Because when Seth Rollins knows something you don't, bad things happen. Paul Heyman came out next. You could feel it immediately, the tension, the way the air shifted. Heyman is a master manipulator. A man who has orchestrated legacies for giants like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. He doesn't walk into traps. He sets them. So when he stepped into that ring with Rollins, you knew this wasn't going to be a simple back-and-forth promo. This was two chess grandmasters sitting at the same table. And one of them had already flipped the board. Rollins started calm.
too calm.
He praised Heyman. Let that sink in. Seth Rollins praised Paul Heyman. He talked about Heyman's genius, his eye for talent, his ability to see the vision before anyone else could. But then, he twisted it. Rollins began questioning whether Heyman's vision was fading, whether the vision was truly the future, or just Heyman's latest attempt to stay relevant. That's when the crowd started buzzing. Because Rollins wasn't just insulting. He was planting seeds. Here's a question for you. Do you think Paul Heyman still has the best eye for talent in WWE, or is he living off his past reputation? Drop your answer in the comments. Because what happened next might change your mind. Rollins began dissecting the Vision's recent performances. Every loss, every hesitation, every moment of doubt. He replayed them verbally, frame by frame, like a prosecutor presenting evidence in court. And here's the terrifying part. He wasn't wrong. That's what made it sting. The Vision has shown flashes of brilliance, athleticism, intensity. But cracks? They're there. And Seth Rollins exposed them in front of millions. On live television. With Paul Heyman standing right there. Unable to stop it. You could see it on Heyman's face. That subtle twitch. That calculating stare. He knew what Rollins was doing. He just couldn't counter it without validating it. And that's when Seth dropped the bomb. He challenged the Vision. Not for pride. Not for dominance. But to prove Heyman wrong. He said he wanted to test the Vision. To see if he was truly the future. Or just another overhyped experiment. That wasn't a challenge. That was bait. And here's where it gets dangerous. Because if the Vision accepts, he walks straight into Rollins' playground. But if he doesn't, the narrative becomes reality. He's afraid. So let me ask you this. If you were the Vision, would you accept Seth Rollins' challenge knowing it might be a trap? Or would you refuse and risk looking weak? Comment below. Because this decision could define his entire career. Now, let's talk strategy. Seth Rollins thrives in chaos. He thrives in psychological warfare. Remember what he did to Roman Reigns during their feud? He didn't just attack him physically. He attacked his identity, his legacy. Rollins understands something most superstars don't. Wrestling isn't just about moves. It's about perception. And perception can destroy you faster than any curb stomp. Speaking of the curb stomp, let's not forget what Rollins is capable of when the mind games are over. One stomp, one moment, and it's done. Do you think the Vision can survive a clean curb stomp? Yes or no? Keep it simple in the comments. But here's the part that made me angry. Because Rollins didn't just manipulate the Vision. He manipulated Paul Heyman. He forced Heyman into a corner. If Heyman pulls the Vision back, he looks like he's protecting him. If he pushes him forward, he might be feeding him to the wolves. That's not just strategy. That's cruelty. And it worked. Heyman tried to respond. He tried to regain control. He spoke about legacy, about destiny, about the vision being inevitable. But there was a crack in his voice. And Rollins smiled. That smile. The one that says, "I've already won." And in that moment, you could feel it. The trap had snapped shut. Because this isn't about one match. This is about power. If Rollins defeats the Vision decisively, what happens? Paul Heyman's credibility takes a hit. The Vision's momentum collapses. And Seth Rollins positions himself back at the top of the conversation. It's a win-win. Unless the Vision shocks the world. Let's talk hypotheticals. What if this backfires on Rollins? What if the Vision uses this pressure as fuel? What if Heyman, the master strategist, has his own counter-trap waiting? Because let's not pretend Paul Heyman hasn't outsmarted people before. He built empires with Brock Lesnar. He created the tribal chief era with Roman Reigns. He thrives in high-stakes scenarios. So maybe, just maybe, Rollins walked into something he doesn't see yet. What do you think? Is Rollins 5 steps ahead or 1 step away from disaster? The crowd reaction was telling. There were cheers. There were boos. But most importantly, there was tension. You could feel fans leaning forward, trying to read between the lines. Because this felt real. Not scripted. Not routine. Personal. And when WWE taps into that raw, emotional edge, magic happens. But here's what people are missing. Seth Rollins isn't just targeting the Vision. He's targeting the future. Every time a new star rises, Rollins tests them. He did it before. He'll do it again. He positions himself as the gatekeeper. And right now, the Vision is standing at that gate. Trivial question for you. Who do you think was Seth Rollins' toughest psychological opponent in his career so far? Was it Roman Reigns? Was it Cody Rhodes? Was it someone else? I want to see your picks below. Let's break down body language. When the Vision finally appeared on the stage,
He didn't rush.
he didn't scream. He stared. And that stare said one thing. I'm not backing down. That's important. Because confidence is the only antidote to mind games. But confidence can also be a mask. And Seth Rollins is very good at ripping masks off. There was a moment, a split second, where Rollins leaned against the ropes, almost inviting him in. Like a predator daring its prey to step closer. And that's what makes this dangerous. Rollins wants this fight. He's engineered it. He's framed it. He's emotionally charged it. And now,
He waits.
anger fuels ratings. Controversy fuels engagement. And right now, this storyline has both. But let me ask you something deeper. Are we witnessing the rebirth of Seth Rollins as the ultimate mastermind, or the beginning of his downfall? Because sometimes when you set a trap, you forget you're standing in the same arena. Let's not ignore history. Seth Rollins has betrayed allies before. He's burned bridges. He's stabbed backs.
Comment this.
Is Seth Rollins genuinely testing the Vision to elevate him, or is he trying to destroy him before he becomes a threat? I'm curious where you stand, because here's the reality. If the Vision wins, it's a star-making moment. If he loses, it could take months to recover. That's the weight of this trap. That's why this matters. This isn't filler. This is foundation building. Paul Heyman knows that. You could see him calculating outcomes in real time. The man doesn't blink unless there's a reason. And last night, he blinked. Just once. But that's all it takes. The road from here is unpredictable. Will this escalate into a full-blown rivalry? Will alliances shift? Will someone interfere? WWE thrives on swerves. And when Seth Rollins is involved, you can guarantee one thing. Nothing is accidental. Before we wrap this up, I want one final prediction from you. Who walks out of this storyline stronger 6 months from now? Seth Rollins? The Vision? Or Paul Heyman? Type your answer boldly in the comments. Because when this explodes, and it will explode, we're coming back to this moment. And we're remembering who saw it coming. Seth Rollins didn't just set a trap. He lit a fuse. And now we're all waiting for the detonation. The question is, Who's still standing when the smoke clears? Because if last night on Raw proved anything, it's that the game has changed. And Seth Rollins is playing it better than anyone. Or, at least, that's what he wants us to believe.